we've discussed Oregon, the Nike money, and Phil Knight, and we've talked about his age a few times. He turned it around a little bit differently. He goes, you guys do know he's worth $42 billion. His company, Nike, has the market cap of $175 billion and the most powerful sports brand in the world. If anyone thinks that Knight is going to sit down and watch Oregon get relegated into an inferior conference, then they do not understand the power of money. I don't think anyone's ever argued with that. This is a man that can write a check for the entire SEC TV annual contract, $300 million annually, and never blink an eye. This is not about money, though, for Knight. How much does he really love Oregon? We will soon find out. Keep in mind, he's 84 years old, which sometimes you look at, oh, my God, he's 84. What does he have to lose?
Well, that was kind of my point, though, is he's also 84 years old, and how much am I supposed to continue fearing him and not listening to Phil Knight? Like, I mean, I understand he's got all the money in the world, but when he inevitably passes at some point in the next 20-something years, give or take, are they still that same Oregon? I mean, I know he'll leave them money, and I know they'll still be the Nike school, and I know they'll still have cool uniforms, and I know they'll still be way out there in the Northwest, and I know that all of that will all remain the same, and they'll still have the Seattle market and Portland, and some of, I'm sure, the Seattle market and then just that Northwest corner. But is it the same without Phil Knight's back, like his there and kicking backing? And that's the one thing I question, but I don't think anybody questions the amount of money he has. I would just say that if he can do all that, then he's probably going to need to do that soon based on the way things are going. But, they're not in the worst spot by any means in the Pac-12, and I think that if they added value, they'd be very enticing for the Big 12. But he's 85 with a big bankroll, but he's 85. And, at some point that's going to come to an end.
That also question remains is, okay, how much does Phil Knight love Oregon? Which means he can leave them an endowment. He can give them some money.
I'm sure he will.
And he already has done it. They already have money from Phil Knight. They already get money from Phil Knight. But how much do Phil Knight's heirs love Oregon? How much of that money are they getting? Because now, look at if you look around. Look at Warren Buffett. His kids are going to be fine, but they're not getting it all. He's kind of said that his money's going to different places, and so. How much do the rest of Phil Knight's family love Oregon? Because if they decide that it's not that big a deal to them, then that Nike money can go away real quick.
I understand all that. Here's the thing. I cannot imagine anything, no matter what anyone thinks may happen in the future, in a year, 2, or 10, that Oregon or Washington or a lot of other schools that appear to be that they're on the bubble or outside the bubble with this Super 2, as Craig's called it, not being able to have a chance to play for a national championship. I know that what everyone thinks or the trending and the thoughts, I can't imagine that ever being a scenario.
The way it currently stands right now, you're going to tell me they're going to go play for a national title. I understand, well, hey, if you look at the playoff and the fact that there's only been this many teams from these other conferences, Clemson won a title. Oregon's been in the playoff. TCU and Baylor have knocked on the playoff door. Oklahoma State would have been in if they won the Big 12 title last. There's numerous dozens of examples where the Pac-12, ACC, Big 12 could have either been in, played for it, have won it, what have you, and you're just going to eliminate all of those teams. And just so, no Oregon, no FSU, no Miami, no Baylor, no TCU, I know some of those you say, okay, well, who cares about TCU or Baylor? I think the best thing for these two schools, those two schools in particular, is they are in the state of Texas, and that market's not going to start downsizing anytime soon. So I do think those are valuable brands moving forward. And while you've heard even a TCU be on the tip of the tongue of people who, go rumor realignment with, well, hey, if the Big Ten wants to get into Texas, there's teams down there. If the Pac wants to raid the Big 12, who are they going after? They're going after Texas teams, right? They're going for that market. So I think, there's a lot of strengths out there outside of that Super 2 that to just throw them to the wayside and act like they're going to go play for some D2 title. No, I'm not going to buy that. I'm not going to buy whoever emerges from that as being the national champion when they haven't played half the country or even competed on the same level with half the country. And I know there will be that argument, well, they do that anyways. But no, not really. They really don't. I find that hard to believe as well, that you would leave out so many wanting and excited for the sport and ready to pony up and watch and pay and whatever. We're talking millions of fans ultimately that you're just, I guess, then again, you hear the comments from Bill Hancock. Did you hear those, Paul?
No, I did not.
We asked Bill Hancock, chair, right, of the College Football Playoff Committee, who let us know the College Football Playoff Committee is not changing, or the playoffs not changing anytime soon, obviously. But he sat with us there in Arlington. We asked him some questions about just rumors we've heard before about, like, the fact that Baylor and TCU are too small really to ever get a playoff invite unless they just leave no doubt about it. But if it ever comes to, let's go with Ohio State, Miami, whoever, versus TCU Baylor, guess what? They're going to lose that battle every single time if everything's even.
He denied that.
He denied that the size matters, and he denied that, fan base matters, and I don't buy that for a single freaking second. I don't believe him. I don't believe him, as courteous as he was. I don't believe him.
Bill Hancock is a very courteous man, but Bill Hancock is a lobbyist.
Yeah.
So by nature, he's not to be believed because he's only his money comes from being a shill.
Let him get to the second part that really blew us up.
Most egregious saying that this man who's in charge of the college football playoff said to us, to our face, and then I was kind of somewhat stunned, and I also knew we were low on time, so I didn't really want to follow it up with anything, but he talked about all that. And so you're telling me that we're going to just get rid of whoever's left over who's not invited to the Super 2. They're just not going to matter. Well, according to Bill Hancock, that would be okay. Not that that premise was exactly what we proposed to him. But in theory, that would be okay because according to him, college football fans are just going to sit around and watch anyways. I mean, how else did he phrase it? It's not going to matter.
That fans will lose their interest, and they will all end up like. And there's a story about NASCAR doing too much too early, too quick. And he said they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. College football fans aren't going anywhere, even if we take their team out of playoff eligibility. I mean, that was for all intents and purposes what he said. So, Oregon fan, even if Oregon doesn't get an invite to the Super 2, they're still going to stick around and watch. Baylor fans will still stick around and watch. TCU fans will still stick around. I don't think so. I really do not think so.
That is the hubris of money.
Exactly.
That is the absolute ridiculous hubris of money.
Exactly.
And this is why, and look, Bill Hancock's very polite, and I've met him several times. But I will tell you, he's full of crap.
Yes.
Because he's a lobbyist, and that kind of hubris is what gets you burned. Because eventually, history shows us this through many walks of life. The minute that you say, everybody's going to come with me no matter what, I'm super cool, okay,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we got you guys all making great points. The chat room's fantastic. Sandra Green, who's a UT fan and wants to talk about the power of eyeballs in markets and who owns Waco or Lubbock. They don't decide the games. Scoreboards are not decided by eyeballs. Maybe the future will be. Conference championships are not decided by who has the most fans or the most money, and neither are national championships. And if Texas and Oklahoma want to pay their exit fees and their rights and all of the other that goes with it, go. And until they do, shut up and play at least another year, 2 or 3. And that's not against UT and Oklahoma. They're very important for the Big 12 moving forward as long as they're a part of the conference.
And I don't think anybody with their right mind is arguing why UT is going to the SEC or why Oklahoma is going to the SEC. But, let's not brag about, fan base sizes. I mean, they don't award trophies for that last I checked.
Otherwise, Wisconsin and others, I mean, if it's decided by that, and UT has a great history. But so do a lot of other programs in recent years have just been junk. Junk, including my favorite program, and Paul's alma mater. When we come back, Sikkim 3